Welcome back to another episode of the Road to World Time Attack Challenge supported by Supercheap Auto. We're here at Sydney Motorsport Park and it is a busy test day. It's Nick Geyer's first time taking this car out on track here. So let's talk to him about his journey on how he got here.
Hi, I'm Nick Geyer, I'm from Canberra and this is my R33 GT-R entered into Pro-Am at World Time Attack. It's got engine built by RaceTech down in Tasmania, capable of well over 1,000 horsepower in full flight. Aero by Sydney Composites, it's their full pro spec package on the car. And yeah, a lot of other bits and pieces, you know, AP racing brakes and stuff from V-Sport. It's been affectionately nicknamed the boat because it's an R33. And I've been building this car for the last 3.5 years now. So it's been quite a long journey. I've always loved GT-Rs. My first car was GT-R. You know, I remember watching them winning a Bathurst, or, you know, back in the 90s. Yeah, I just love GT-Rs, so that's what we ended up with. So.
And where does the story start with this R33?
We found this chassis, a former acquaintance of mine, and kind of buried under a banana tree under a tarp in the middle of Queensland. So. Yeah, he picked it up from there. I inherited the car and yeah, we got it down to Canberra and it kind of sat in storage for a while and didn't do much, and then yeah, we decided to build it into a time attack car.
And was that always the intention for this car, to build it into a time attack car?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was either that or a drag racing car, and I don't do drag racing. So.
And on that note, what is your motorsport experience?
Probably today, to be honest. It's a brand new build car. You know, it only got running really 2 weeks ago. It was the first time we took it out in anger. That was down in Tasmania. Over the last couple of years, you know, 2 years ago I was here almost every week, just driving at track days and track nights, and yeah, sort of evolving from starting in a Hyundai N sedan, and then I had an R35 GT-R for a while that I was driving around.
And I've seen you've got quite a few people around you. Who do you have here with you today?
So I have my family, so my wife Alison, my kids Brian and Addison, my sister Helena is here, my niece Charlotte, so I'm very happy they got to come and see it. This, you know, this thing's become a bit of a running joke, this car, in that it's, you know, maybe one day we'll see it driving. Outside of that, Greg from Sydney Composites obviously has been here helping out a lot. Brad from RaceTech as well, so he's been involved quite heavily in the car and getting it up and running this year.
How does it feel to have all these people here to support you?
It's awesome. You know, it's a small team. You know, I don't like a cast of thousands around, so it's mainly the people I need here working with me. And I actually forgot my best friend Brad Walker as well. He's been here helping out quite a lot also. And
what's their reaction seeing the car on the track for the first time?
I think everyone's happy. I think my wife said she cried, and she doesn't cry much. Yeah, I think genuine happy and excited to see what it's going to do.
So you're competing in the Plazmaman Pro-Am class this year. What gave you the confidence to take this to the World Time Attack Challenge?
I'm not entirely sure still. I'm asking myself that. I'm definitely an amateur driver. I just think it looks cool, and I ended up talking with Greg at Sydney Composites, and he was like, this would be cool if we did a full flat floor and everything on it, and that put it into Pro-Am. So yeah, I think Pro-Am just gives a luxury of, there's a lot of flexibility in the rules. So, you know, we can build the car up to however we want it, really. So.
And how did this build start? What was the very first thing that you did, and how did it progress over time?
So it was just basically a rolling chassis, had next to nothing in it, you know, when I got it. You know, we found an engine for it. It actually came out of my old street car, GT-R, and that went in, a bit of basic aero on it, and it was originally going to go into open the first year, but then, yeah, we just sort of lost control and ended up with what we've got today. So I blame Greg at Sydney Composites for a lot of that. He's, you know, when you give him the freedom to do what he wants, he sort of just, yeah, goes next level with it.
So you've been trying to enter into the World Time Attack Challenge for the previous years, and you've faced a couple of challenges. What were they and how did you face them?
I think the biggest one was last year. You know, we were close to making it last year. We had a bit of a mechanical problem literally 5 days before the event last year. We just couldn't get it recovered in time. That was a huge disappointment. You know, we started to run into issues. A few of us got together. Brad came up to Canberra. We tried to get the car together, but it just, yeah, it sort of just fell apart in those last few days. I think that's been the most disappointing aspect of it. You know, we parked the car for about 3 months after that and just didn't touch it. And then, yeah, you know, my wife and Brad and some others were like, come on, let's get this thing going. I think bringing Brad from RaceTech in, you know, he's, you know, and I don't think there's a lot of people around that understand just what it takes to get these cars running at the level that they need to run at. So. And
being the owner and the driver of this car, was there anything that you've had to adjust to?
So I'm 6.5 foot tall, so trying to shoehorn myself into this car has been an interesting experience, to say the least. You know, I mentioned I've done a lot of track time around here. This car is on a whole nother level, so there's a lot of personal development, you know, that I'm mindful of I need to continue doing to drive this thing anywhere near what it's capable of doing. So it's got one of Brad's engines in it, you know, and those things are, you know, anybody who sees World Time Attack and Xtreme knows what they're capable of doing. And then the grip is just phenomenal. The amount of aero on this car and the grip that it provides is just, you know, it's quite a big step up getting used to driving something that, you know, you're coming into a corner that you're used to in a slower car, and, you know, this car's just telling you, just turn me, faster, faster, and it'll just do it.
And how does it feel like sitting in the driver's seat, going as fast as you do here at Sydney Motorsport Park?
Awesome. It's I don't know how else to describe it. It's awesome. You know, the noise that comes out of it, yeah, it's, you know, it's awesome.
Something about yourself that you've learnt through the process of building this car?
Not to give up. I've wanted to give up a lot with this car. You know, I have to thank my wife. She's the one who, every time I've said, no, let's just stop, she's pushed me to keep going. Mark and Michelle, who own Xtreme, we're actually good friends. So Xtreme actually lives about 2 minutes down the road from where this lives, in Canberra. So I catch up with them quite a lot. You know, I've seen their car in a lot of detail. You know, we talk a lot, we share a lot of information. And then obviously Michelle introducing me to Brad as well. You know, if I hadn't met Brad, I don't think this car would be here. You know, I probably would have sold it and bought a boat or something, so yeah.
Thanks to Supercheap Auto for making the road to World Time Attack 2025 super. They've been supporting competitors from grassroots level all the way to the pro level. You can visit them in store or online for great deals and discounts at supercheapauto.com.au. So we're now standing here with Nick in front of his R33. Nick, I'd love for you to run us through the build. Starting with the engine, what's powering this R33?
Yeah, sure. So it's a billet RB26 from RaceTech down in Tasmania. It's all Nitto internals, so crank rods. I'm sorry, it is custom pistons inside of it. It's the PRP fully integrated dry sump kit running on it. Plazmaman intercooler, hypertune radiator and intake, and precision 8080 turbo.
Now, when you first look at this car, you see all the aero. What are you running here?
So this is a Sydney Composites full pro package. I believe it may have a couple of tweaks on it. So it's the front splitter, the canards. It has a full flat floor on it, so it is completely sealed up the whole way under the car. And it's running their new Brackley rear wing on it as well.
I'd love to make our way over to the wheels and talk about those.
Yeah, so it's the Volt TE37s. 18 by 10.5 inch wheel, running the Yokohama slick tyres on them at the moment, and behind them is the AP Racing 6-piston calipers on the front.
And how do the Yokohama slicks feel?
They feel good. So I tested down in Tasmania 2 weeks ago. I ran both the Yokohamas and the Michelins. I think for me personally, in the way I drive, I actually find the Yokohama a much better tyre to drive on. I get a lot more feedback out of it. Yeah, and I just seem to be able to push the car a bit harder.
Is there any room for improvement on this setup?
Yes, so I think, you know, for next year, if we come back, we'll obviously want to widen the car out a bit, wider wheels on it, and just get a bit more rubber onto the ground.
Next, let's go to the back and talk about the wing. So all your aero has been done by Sydney Composites. What could you tell us about the wing?
Yes, so this is Sydney Composites' new Brackley wing. They did release it last year. There'll probably be a few more cars running it this year. It has the full 3D sculpted end plates on it. Pretty much every option available ticked on it. It's pushed out to the maximum width allowed under the regulations. And it's a very efficient wing as well. We're running it in a pretty minimal configuration, so there's a lot more left in it if we need it.
And that's a mighty diffuser that you've got at the back here. What can you tell us about that?
Again, it's the Sydney Composites diffuser. And yeah, it has been custom made for this car, and it's, you know, the biggest and the best they do, so yeah.
No expenses spared. I'd love to talk about the interior because that's the next standout for me. So now we're sitting in the interior. For me, it feels really spacious, but for you, you're a 6'5". What adjustments have you had to make in order to fit into this car?
So we've got the AP Racing pedal box in there it's on a slider, and we've pushed that as far forward as possible. We've got the seat as low as possible. It's probably not comfortable for you because we've taken all the padding out of it, so I can actually get my head under the roll cage in the car. Yeah, so there's been a lot of work to actually get me in there, you know, being 6.5 foot tall.
And could you run us through what you have set up here?
Yeah, so it's a top stage carbon dash, the Motorsport dash. The car runs the full Motec suite of electronics, so ECUs, your control panels there, the Motec dash. Yeah, we've got Sparco steering wheel, an adjustable steering column. All the buttons on the wheel do things. There is a secret Go Baby Go button on the wheel, which will just, you know, void any engine warranty and give me as much power as I really want out of the car. Yeah, so it's air shifted transmission in it as well, so it's got the flappy paddles on the back of the steering wheel. So it is, you know, in theory quite an easy car to drive, but it is quite a handful sitting in there as well.
How does it feel sitting in the driver's seat of this car?
It's awesome. You know, I said I'm a big GT-R fan. It still has the full GT-R running gear in it, so it's all-wheel drive still. It's just awesome going out and driving it, and the sounds and the noise and even the smells that come out of them. Yeah, so it's just everything I could have hoped for out of the car.
What's the learning curve been like, learning to drive this car?
Big and small. There's, you know, obviously it's got a lot of grip, so the car will go wherever you point it, basically. So understanding that I can push it harder through corners, I can brake significantly later in anything that I have driven. You know, how it's been set up, it's handling pretty well, and I think from just here it's just little tweaks. There's no more big changes to be made before time attack.
Thank you so much for running us through your car. Now back to the video. It's nice to see that it's finally completed, but I noticed that you don't have many sponsor stickers on the car. Is this a self-funded project?
It is a self-funded project, yes. So there's a couple of sponsor stickers on the inside of the car. Mainly, again, RaceTech, Sydney Composites, PRP have helped out with some stuff. You know, there's a lot of people that have come together, supplying parts and stuff for this car. You know, Jason from Samsonis is a big one with the gearbox in it. You know, it runs all the Motec stuff, but yeah, it is predominantly a self-funded car. So I think that's represented in the livery of it. That's a deliberate decision to, yeah, just run around, and it's true and representative of, I guess, the story of the car to date as well.
So how did you balance this project with work, life, family?
It's difficult. So, you know, school holidays just finished. You know, I've got 2 young kids, twins. It takes a lot of work to put these cars together and run them. So it is difficult. I think they're very understanding of this. I've wanted to give up on this so many times, and you know, let's just park it. And you know, she's the one that keeps telling me, do it. You have to get it done.
And what's your mindset like heading into this year's event? Are you chasing a specific lap time, a podium, or something else?
The biggest thing is not to have an empty garage and come here and have fun. That's the biggest goal for me this year after the last 2 years. You know, there's some lofty goals we'd like to achieve. I won't put those on camera at the moment, but yeah, just go out, drive the car, have it reliable, have fun, and just be here as an entrant with a car. We went out, we could do lap after lap in multiple sessions, so the cooling's pretty much sorted on it, the drivetrain, mechanical, everything's pretty good on it. And you know, again, I think that's a testament to Brad from RaceTech and Greg at Sydney Composites. I mean, a lot of people take their car out for the first time and it's just chasing issues. You know, we took this out in Tasmania 2 weeks ago. It did 3 days down there, no problems. You know, it's come up here today. It's a lot warmer up here than Tasmania. And again, you know, we pushed the car and nothing, you know, it hasn't really had anything go wrong with it, so.
I love your goal of just chasing fun, even with an extreme build like this. What is your advice to someone who dreams of competing at the World Time Attack Challenge one day?
Just get into it and do it. You know, start off with track days. That's how I think most of the people that are attending Time Attack do. You know, just if it's your passion, follow it and do it. It's an awesome event. You know, it's going to be awesome to be here actually driving this year. Start with a dream and do it. Go do it. You know, it's give it a crack and see what happens. Especially after driving it today. You know, on Time Attack just a month away. It's you know, everything paid off today. So, yeah.
As a fan of the event yourself, why should people come to the World Time Attack Challenge?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, you see ridiculously fast cars with crazy aero on them, you know, minimal regulations around it, so you can build whatever you want. The drifting, the off-track activities, you know, I've brought my family here as well as spectators and they love it, and it's just an awesome event. Like, you don't see anything else like it, so, yeah.
What are you most excited or nervous about?
Probably the same thing. Excited and nervous about I have to up level to get the most out of the car, but that's exciting because, you know, the performance I got out of the car today was still just mind-blowing. So yeah, if I can put in the personal development and get it to where it needs to be, it's just going to be insane.
Excited to see you in September.
No, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
It was amazing talking to Nick about his R33 GT-R and his passion and love for the Time Attack sport. Thank you so much for watching the video, and a bigger thanks to Supercheap Auto for making the Road to World Time Attack Challenge super. If you want to get the look and support us, visit WTACshop.com, and we'll see you in September.